reports. NYC firefighter killed in suspected gas explosion that destroyed Bronx house. New York, a New York City firefighter died, and at least 6 others were injured, including police officers, when a suspected gas explosion destroyed a Bronx home and rocked the surrounding neighborhood early Tuesday, according to city authorities and media reports. One city firefighter died while responding to the explosion, the New York Times and cable news station NY1 reported, citing city officials and unidentified sources. A tweet from Representative Charles Rangel's office said the city was mourning the loss of an FDNY Battalion chief. Fire and police officials said gas was believed to have caused the blast. Emergency responders were also checking the possibility the building may have housed a drug lab, according to numerous media reports. Massive explosion in my neighborhood. Felt like a bomb went off. Shook my whole building, and an area resident identified as @Advocatiafords wrote in Twitter and Instagram posts. Watching cops and firefighters walking around bloody. Not a good morning. Of the 7 people injured, 6 were taken to area hospitals for treatment, the FDNY said. 4 police officers were taken to North Central Bronx Hospital with non-life-threatening injuries, the night said. The first alarm came in at 6:22 a.m. for the 2-story building in the Kingsbridge section of the Bronx, the FDNY said. The explosion quickly went to a second alarm, sending 25 units with approximately 106 firefighters to the scene. A firefighter was killed when a home in the Bronx exploded early Tuesday morning. Firefighters were called to a house on West 234th Street in the Kingsbridge neighborhood on a report of a gas leak hours before there was an explosion around 7:30 a.m. Monday. One resident who spoke to CBS New York said when he came out to work around 6:15 a.m., he smelled a strong odor of gas. Then at about 7:30 a.m., another resident said she heard a loud crashing sound. The fire department of New York says 7 people suffered minor injuries and 6 of them were taken to a hospital. The injured included 4 police officers, 1 firefighter and a civilian. Authorities say firefighters went there investigating for a possible gas leak in a 2-story private home, found what they believe to be a drug lab and notified police. Police say the house exploded afterward, but it wasn't immediately clear what caused it. Several residents in the community took to social media to comment on the blast. FDNY Battalion Chief dies in Bronx house explosion after report of gas leak, possible drug lab. An FDNY Battalion Chief responding to a report of a gas leak died in an explosion at a home in the Bronx where authorities discovered a possible drug lab inside, police said Tuesday. Battalion Chief Michael Fahy, a 17-year FDNY veteran and father of 3, was killed in the incident, Mayor Bill de Blasio announced at a morning news conference. It is a reminder of the dangers that our first responders face every day, the dangers that the men and women of the FDNY face and the bravery with which they do their job, de Blasio said. He was on the rise, he was a star, a brave man, FDNY Commissioner Daniel Nigro said. It's a terrible loss for the Fahy family, it's a loss for the fire department family. We feel it deeply. It all began when firefighters were called to a house on West 234th Street on a report of a gas leak. While investigating the gas odor, firefighters discovered what appeared to be a drug lab inside the house and called police, CBS 2's Redgie reported. Nigro said firefighters evacuated the surrounding buildings when the explosion occurred. Fahy was fatally struck by a portion of the building. He was rushed to the hospital, but could not be saved, Nigro said. It's still unclear what exactly caused the blast, but images from the scene showed much of the house destroyed and debris strewn across the street and on parked cars. I was sleeping and I heard this loud bomb explosion, resident Barbara Nardo said. I thought maybe it was lightning that hit a car or something. There was an attempt to get the people out, they were knocking on the door, another neighbor named Jorge said. And at that time, I had to leave, but about 40 minutes later, then I walked nearby. I heard an explosion and I knew right away it was this. One civilian was hurt, but refused medical attention. 7 police officers and another firefighter also suffered minor injuries in the explosion and were all taken to area hospitals. I am saddened to hear about the explosion that occurred in the Bronx and the tragic loss of life of the brave FDNY Battalion Chief, Congressman Charles Rangel, who represents Upper Manhattan and parts of the Bronx, said in a statement. We are grateful to our first responders who attended to the initial gas leak and those who are dealing with the aftermath of the explosion. I join my constituents as we keep our neighbors, those injured and their families in our prayers. Police say drivers in the area should expect road closures and traffic delays.